Every business has a culture. What is your brand's culture? We have a public culture, that's the brand that we present. That's our vision, mission, purpose, and values. That's our tagline, and that's the logo on our truck and trucks. But what is the alternative culture? What's the water cooler culture? When you walk into a room and all of a sudden the conversation drops and they're surprised. He's here. Or, we were caught. Well, what were they saying? How do they talk to each other? Because how they talk to each other, how you talk to them, or how you talk to other partners, how they hear you talking on the phone, how they hear you yelling and arguing and fighting with other people, you're mentoring them. They're going to mirror you. They do mirror you, regardless of whether you try or not. So you better, put a conscious effort on that and have a focus on the advanced training, not just the training to bring them in, but to advance in their training, customer service, and write down what are your best practices and build in those systems. Now, out of these efforts, a new leader will emerge. It starts by looking at your team as you're nurturing and talking with them and training and asking them questions. Who's more interested? Who wants this most? Who's engaged? Who's excited? Who's coming to work early? And maybe perhaps make that person try them out as a supervisor. And then from being a supervisor, make them a head, a manager of a small department. And then from that point, then you're going to consider making them a partner and having them buy in a very small amount. Have your attorney write an agreement in principle that is very fundamental, but that locks them in some fundamental ways, and they become a partner. And then from that point, it's up to you to develop that person as a working business owner, not just an operator, not just somebody who can open the door, close the door, handle customers, make a few orders, but that they can begin to think like an owner about the banking, about the reconciliations, about the structure of the organization and moving forward. Okay, it's now time to turn to page 2 and spend a few minutes on your exit readiness quiz. So some of these questions are: estimate how many days your business has operated without you during the last year. Just a round number. Business days the business was running, but you weren't there. And then how many persons have an ownership interest in your business right now? And do you have a written buy-sell agreement in place or ready to go should you have a prospective partner? Now you begin to quickly see that we have a certain bias here with these plus 100, minus 50, just a subtle, little subtle bias here. And then what is the current estimate of the value of your business if you were forced to liquidate in 30 to 90 days or 5 or 6 months? And then how did you arrive at that number? Is it a guess? Is it based on your balance sheet or a valuation formula or a qualified expert valuation? And are you purchasing the real estate that houses your business? And how's that real estate titled? And have you made preparations for yourself and your family after your business? Let's take a few minutes for questions. What questions do we have so far? We have a very wide selection of business owners here. Yes?
It seems like, maybe most of the businesses in the area are kind of like, it's a sole proprietorship. It seems like maybe you're talking about businesses that have maybe a staff or something like that. So how does this apply, for instance, if you're using, if you use subcontractors or, you sub out a lot of your work or, I think
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Well, we can delegate. Whether we have contractors, in one way or another, you're not doing this by yourself. And you may have a part-time help, or they may be contracted vendors.